the tape for this, our main event of the evening. We introduce the champion, Chris, the West Side Strangler Brennan. Let's get it on!
What's up, guys? We're back to go over the results of the Bellator versus PFL champ versus champ deal in Saudi Arabia.
100%.
Almost. Oh, I guess I was 100% because I did say that Bader had a chance, but it was slim. You know, I think is how I worded it.
Yeah.
I did not think he was going to pull it off against that guy. He was also, like I said, is getting older.
Yeah.
But from otherwise, top to bottom to top, however you want to say it, I picked it. I just feel like Bellator. Well, first of all, PFL is probably grateful that they purchased Bellator, right?
Yeah, because they just bought a whole bunch of really good fighters.
Right, and now they know
Yes.
that they do. But that's why they bought him, right? It's a better roster. And by the time PFL started an organization, the UFC was here, Bellator was here, ONE FC was here. All these other organizations already had all these fighters,
Yep.
so they got everybody else.
Yep.
Right. So it was obviously a smart purchase on their part, and here they are now with a bunch of savage guys to add to their roster. And they're already putting together, not putting together, but they've got kind of a whole lineup set for the start of the tournament.
Yeah, and you got to feel bad for the PFL guys that were cruising along, maybe ranked 12th, 13th, 14th, just kind of.
Right, so 94 guys got cut.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm not sure, that can't all be Bellator guys. I'm sure they kind of cleaned out both. The PFL guys that they had and didn't want anymore to make room for some of the Bellator guys.
Yep.
But total between all the weight classes in both organizations, 94 people were cut. So
and is that cut complete, or do you do you know?
I don't know.
Are they done?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure. That was a kind of a quick.
Yeah.
Just got rid of a lot of people.
Low-hanging fruit that they could just go through really quick.
Yeah, and like I said, I think I mentioned it on the pre-fight deal with this, but the regional scene is going to be dangerous for a while.
Yeah.
Right? You've got 94 guys that want to get back to the big show, so they're going to be all over the place fighting. So
and solid fighters. I mean,
a lot. I mean,
great
they were there,
fighters.
right? They were there. So it's if you were coming off of one loss, for example, and I hate it, Weber Almeida got cut, right? Lucas's last opponent.
Really?
Yeah, he was so friggin' tough and so good and exciting. So he's coming off a loss that he was winning, right? And he gets cut. And that guy's going to give you an exciting fight.
Yeah.
And
such a good dude on top of all of that.
Super.
Let's jump in here. The only one of the undercard we want to talk about was Aaron Pico, Henry Corrales. Pico finished Corrales at 453 in round one due to strikes, ground and pound. Pico seemed like he was dominating this fight for most of. I mean, it was a quick finish, but he seemed like he was owning it.
So it was redemption, number one.
Yes.
He's one of the guys that knocked out Aaron Pico early in his career.
Yep.
Number two, short notice for Henry Corrales. It was supposed to be Pico, and I cannot remember who, but he had another fight lined up, and it fell out pretty last minute, pretty within the last week, I believe, of the fight. And I forget who it was, but you can probably look on Tapology to show the canceled.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find it right here. Oh, Gabriel Alves Braga.
Okay. So he was supposed to fight one of the PFL guys, and that fell through. And then Henry Corrales jumped in on short notice and gave Pico a chance to redeem his early loss, and he did.
As a fighter, and Luke hasn't taken any fights. Has Luke taken a fight on short notice like that before?
I'm not about that with him.
Yeah.
And I've got Lestat.
Yeah.
My 25er, he fought, and then a month later he fought, month and a half. He just fought the other night, and he took a fight in 13 days. And he's coming up as an amateur. Cool. You know what I mean? Like, get your fights in. If you're in shape, it's great. At that level, I think the only two things that can get you to do that is a really nice check,
Right.
and a clout, like a ranking. If I'm number 14 and they're like, hey, number 3 got hurt, do you want to fight on short notice? Well, there's your chance. You're not going to go back from 14, but you definitely might jump forward to 3.
Yes. Yeah. Sure.
So if it's a fight that is possibility you can win, sure. But we've done everything so by the book. That's why the PFL tournament is even not a great idea for us, because they fight every 2 months and our camps are 3 months.
Yeah. And
making weight every 2 months is, I don't even know it'd be possible for Lucas. And, I spoke to Jeremy Kennedy and Kai Kamako in the locker room with the PI, and they both were like, yeah, Jeremy said, I can't do the tournament because of that, but he's in the tournament coming up as far as I heard. I'm not supposed to say that, but I heard he is. So
okay.
I don't know how you'll do it, but if you can, cool.
You got to feel bad for Corrales taking it on short notice.
Sure.
On the wrong end of a redemption fight.
And
so hopefully his wallet's fatter.
I'm sure it is, but now what? He's coming off a loss.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he was already coming off a loss to Kai. He lost a split decision to Kai.
Yeah,
that we both thought he won.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now he's coming off of 2 losses.
Yep.
So who knows what they do with him. One more savage into the wild if they let him go.
Right, into the regional scene. Yeah, that's a good call. AJ McKee, Clay Collard. This one also did not get out of round 1. This was finished in 1 minute and 10 seconds. AJ McKee got him with a triangle arm bar.
Yeah, very slick.
It was quick.
And so I called this. I called the result correctly, but I called the fight wrong. I thought it would be much tougher.
Yeah.
I thought Clay Collard was going to give him problems. He's big. AJ at 55 hasn't been quite the finisher, So I thought it might be a tougher fight, but he's very slick and underrated off his back. And the person's name I was thinking of earlier was Derek Campos. He submitted Derek Campos off his back. He submitted Darren Caldwell off his back. He submitted now Clay Collard off his back. He has really slick and underrated jiu-jitsu. And if you look back at even the really good jiu-jitsu guys fighting these days, you're rarely seeing submissions off the back.
Yeah.
Guys throwing up arm bars and triangles is just not your normal thing, and especially against a guy like Clay Collard who has a lot of fights, a lot of experience, and he knows when an arm bar and a triangle's coming.
Yeah, I mean, that's arm bar and triangle. That's Jiu-Jitsu 101. I mean, those are white belt classes.
For sure.
Were you surprised? I mean, you don't see submissions other than someone in your family. You don't see submissions that quickly in round 1. That comes pretty fast.
Yeah, sometimes that's when you see them, just because their bodies are dry. They're more dry, not slippery, and can't slide out of things quite as well as you can. Like 3rd round, it's much harder at that point. But again, I feel like he needs to be in the UFC, because at this point, unless he's just going to continue to rematch Pitbull.
Yeah, there's no one else for him.
I don't. I think he's kind of beats everybody. So
and at 22-1 and avenged his only loss. There's nowhere else for him really.
Like, I'd be interested to see him fight Pico at 45.
Okay.
Because they were training partners before.
Yeah.
But he's and I heard he was coming back to 45, but maybe not. He's fighting at 55 here, so we'll see. But he's big.
Pico fought at 55 on the same card. So
this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, so that short notice for Henry Corrales, probably that's why. Okay. I wondered, me and Lucas were talking, I wondered how Henry was able to take it on short notice and make that weight.
And make it, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was at 55. Romero and Thiago Santos. This was a banger. I saw parts of this fight, and number one, those are just two.
Go a distance.
It did.
Yeah.
It's like fire hydrants swinging at each other. The guys are just huge. This one was a unanimous decision that went to Romero. I think that he was throwing. I think the volume was bigger, and Thiago Santos, I just don't think could keep up with what Romero was doing.
Joel is 46 years old.
It's unreal.
He's what, 6 years younger than I am, and fighting at the highest level.
Yeah.
Thiago Santos is, he's a guy who fell off after the John Jones fight.
Yeah.
He, questionably, a lot of people thought he beat John Jones, and I think it was a split decision, and he lost. After that, he hasn't done a lot, and it took it all out of him. John King, that fights for me, lost a decision to him in Glory Kickboxing, and he's a tough dude, and he was very good. But I think what happened after John Jones?
Yeah. Lost to Glover Teixeira, lost to Rakic, beat Johnny Walker, lost to Ankalaev, lost to Jamal Hill, lost to Yoel Romero.
Right. So he's won 1 out of 6, 7?
1 out of 6. He's 1-5 in his last 6 fights. That's after the loss to John Jones in 2019, the split decision. And before that, he beat Jan Blachowicz. He beat Kevin Holland. He beat Anthony Smith. He beat some.
Yeah, he had a good little run. That's how he ended up with the title shot against John Jones.
Yeah. Jack Hermanson.
Who's that lost to down here in the middle of all that?
David Branch.
Okay. David Branch. Does it say loss or no contest, or is it loss?
Lost punches.
Okay.
2:30 in round 1.
I know David tested positive at one point and had a DQ at some point, but maybe not against him.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, Yoel's who knows when that guy's going to stop fighting.
You just wonder why, and you got to think it can't be for the money. Hopefully, it's not for the money. He just must still really like it.
Yeah, I mean, he still does well, and I'm sure he gets paid very well.
He's still a name.
He is.
Nemkov and Bruno Capoloza.
Yeah, I love Nemkov.
Yeah, you did. This was a arm triangle choke, just shortly into round 3.
Yeah.
Buddy
Nemkov is a guy who you'll always associate with Bellator. He was, I don't remember what his record is, but he's got 3 losses, I think, 2 or 3 losses.
He climbed to 18-2. His 2 losses are early to Yuri Prohaska and Carl Albrechtsen, and that goes back to 2015 and 2016.
And then just went on a run, right?
And this fight lost since.
Was it heavyweight? Am I right? I heard he moved up to heavyweight.
Yeah, I think it was. Let me double check. I think they listed it. Yeah, they're listed at 265. So
yeah, so he was a 205er. He's the one that beat Corey Anderson in the rematch for the belt at 205, and then he moved to heavyweight. So I'm not sure what he actually weighed in at, but that's pretty. Actually, click on his name on his Tapology. Are you on it?
Yeah.
Scroll up. It'll tell you whatever his last weight was right there. What does it say?
Weight class heavy, last weigh in 238.
238. So not a huge heavyweight, but he's one of those hybrid styles because he was just coming up from 205. He probably walks at that weight.
And he doesn't look, you see his profile picture, and he doesn't look noteworthy. A little kind of soft a little bit. Doesn't he's not looking like Ngannou and anything like that.
He's on Fedor's team.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
He looks better than Fedor, but
I guess that's
where
true.
he comes. That's where he comes from.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, arm triangle, 3rd round. That's awesome.
Second round.
Cool.
It was early in the second round too, I believe. It was in the middle of the second round. So. Jason Jackson beat Ray Cooper. This was ground and pound. 23 seconds into round 2, Jason Jackson finished him. I think he caught him and finished him really quickly in round 2.
That's impressive to me just because I know Ray and he's so tough and I've watched him get into a battle. If you go back to his fight that was 1 fight ago or 2 fights ago.
You talking about Derek Brunson?
No, I missed that one, but I heard that was bad too.
Brett Cooper?
No, a loss.
You're talking about Ray Cooper,
yes.
right? So Jason Jackson, obviously Derek Brunson, Carlos Leal. Those are his 3.
Yeah, Carlos Leal. That was a loss 3 fights ago.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were there for that fight. It was in Arlington, I believe. and holy smokes, it was a barn burner. It was he got hit so hard and just ate him, and then came back in the third round after like being beat up so bad in the first 2 rounds, and then came back in the third round, and all of a sudden was like beating the crap out of him, and I'm just like, gosh, like how do these Hawaiians, you know, how they take it. I was talking to Kai's dad earlier today, the one that's closer to my age, and he said something about, the Hawaiians, they never learn. They still just want to stand and bang. And I said, well, you told me back in the day it was the poi. Do you know what poi is?
I do know what poi is.
They always used to tell me. They always used to tell me, it's so in the poi. It's in the poi. I was like, really? That's why. Like, feed me some.
That stuff is, I can't handle it.
Yeah.
Ray did take this fight on short notice. It was going to be Magomed Karimov,
who Ray has fought also, I believe, for the title twice in PFL. Beat him once, lost to him once.
So Ray did take that on short notice, and Ray beat him.
Same one, same guy.
Same guy.
Lost to him way back.
Way back, and wow, you got a good memory. Yeah, he lost to him in 2018, and then beat him in October of 2021.
So both of those were the finals of the tournament. And I was at the MGM or Madison Square Garden one in New York. That was the first one, and Ray lost.
Yeah, that was on New Year's. That's the one where you told the story about the snipers up on top of
Yes, that's the night.
Yep.
Same night.
Yep. That's legit. Yeah, I know you're really pulling for Ray. You expected Jason to win this fight, but I know that you're pulling for Ray, and hopefully he bounces back and continues to make progress, and hopefully things are good with his family too. Johnny Eblen and Impa Kasagane. This one was a split decision. This went all 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And Kasagane took it to Eblen, dropped him in the second round twice.
He did. I was surprised at that, not at the result, but surprised that it went the distance. Then I was surprised that it was a split decision. You know, I thought Johnny Eblen would kind of run him over.
Yeah.
And Impa's the guy who got cut from the UFC. So he got jumping, spinning, kicked from Joaquin Buckley.
Correct.
And went over to PFL and ran through the tournament, won $1 million. You know, then he comes across Eblen, and I just felt like Eblen was going to, you know, after listening to everybody that trains with Eblen talk about Eblen, I thought it might be a short night for Impa, and it wasn't. It was
close.
Yeah, it was a close fight.
Impa showed up.
Dropped him, yeah.
And, the second round, easily he won the second round. I can't see the scores. I'd be really curious to see which rounds the judges disagreed on. But round 2 went to Impa. It was.
I'm a little bitter about split decisions at the moment anyway, but we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that. So Impa showed up. I was shocked, and Johnny Eblen, we've talked about him before. 15-0, just dominant.
Yeah,
just a stud. And
he's had 2 hard ones now, though. His last one was Leon Edwards, or not Leon, Fabian Edwards, his brother, and got cut in that pretty bad. I don't know if he got dropped in that fight, but he was in a fight in that one.
Yeah.
So his last 2 have been much tougher fights.
He did finish
Step up in competition.
Fabian.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did. Elbows and punches and beginning of round 3.
Oh, okay, cool.
So the final one, which, you hope the last fight is going to be the best fight, and this one lasted all of 21 seconds. Renan Ferreira beat Ryan Bader, and this was, steal a term from you, this was one-way traffic for all 21 seconds. It did not last long, and Bader was stunned.
I picked Bellator to run the table on all these guys, except for this fight. I said that, does Bader have a chance to win? Sure, but I thought that Renan Ferreira was going to beat him. He's too big. If you looked at them stand by each other, there was a side by side of them with Mike Tyson standing right behind both of them. Mike Tyson looked like a little kid.
Well, yeah.
And then Bader was big, and then this guy made Bader look like Mike Tyson. Like, he was so much bigger. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he weighed in at, but he's got to be getting close to the cap, of the weight class.
Yeah, let me see if I can find that. So just to talk about the height difference, Bader comes in at 6'2", Ferreira's 6'8".
Yeah.
So he's a
So it'll
monster.
say right at the top.
Last weigh in 263.2.
Right, so he's at the cap.
He might
2
have to
pounds
be
away from the cap.
I mean, he might have to be managing weight coming,
Yeah.
the last couple weeks of the fight just to
Yeah.
make sure that he's making
That's
it.
crazy.
He's a big dude. He's a big dude.
Yeah, so 21 seconds knockout. Bader, I believe, is getting close to 40 years old, or is 40.
Yeah, he is 40.
Yeah,
He
there's
turned
only
41 this year.
there's only a few guys who can stick around and fight at that age.
Yeah.
And he can, but he can't. I don't know that he can compete at the top level at that age, right? Like you can get some fights, but if you're defending your belt or trying to get a belt, it's very difficult. So
Overall, Bellator really. I mean, other than the final one, it was a clean sweep of Bellator, which is kind of exactly how you thought it was going to go. I mean, I don't know that anybody.
they could grab 5 other guys against 5 other guys, and it would do the same thing.
Probably
It
do
doesn't
the
have
same
to be the champions.
Yep, I agree. It was a busy weekend. Why don't you let us in on how your weekend went outside of this?
So Mexico City, corner Victor Altamirano. He, in my opinion, he had won round 1 and round 2, pretty handily. He got 9 takedowns in this fight, and people online are, the people who are arguing it said, "Oh, he didn't do anything with him." I said, "But he took him down 9. He did something to this man 9 times that the guy couldn't stop."
Yep.
So the strike count was even. Okay, they gave more significant strikes to who do we fight?
Dos Santos?
Oh yeah, Felipe Dos Santos. But when it came down to the end, if they say they were even strikes, okay, and everything's even, we had 2 or 3 minutes of top control and 9 takedowns. So there's the separation, right? And people are like, "Oh, he did more damage." No, he didn't do damage. We weren't bleeding. That dude was bleeding out of his nose and his mouth.
Yep.
He knocked him on his butt with a side kick. He took him down 9 times. This guy's highlight was in the 3rd round. He got Victor's back, was trying like hell to choke him.
Yeah, it was up against it was super awkward up against the fence.
It was very
right?
slick. Victor shot on him, and he jumped to his back on the takedown. Victor got out nicely, got back to the feet. Victor was tired in the 3rd round because he pressed hard in the first 2 rounds. And we were at 7,400-foot altitude, which was wild.
Yeah.
And that guy was tired in the first 2 rounds.
Yes.
When he saw Victor tired in the 3rd round, he pressed. But so watching it live, I'm thinking, okay, we probably lost the 3rd round, but he won the first 2 rounds, no question. Bro, I got in the cage and congratulated him. Me and James were congratulating each other. Like, I've never been more sure about a decision in my life. And I sat there confident, and as soon as they said, "Judge so-and-so scores it," I was like, I think it's split. And then I'm like, no way it's split. And then we're in Mexico City. So I'm like, okay, if it is, they went 30-27 Victor, which was generous. I would have taken 29-28.
Yeah.
Then it goes 29-28 the other guy. I'm thinking, okay, what round could they have possibly given him? But whatever. And then they said 29-28 again with the other guy, and I lost my mind. I lost my mind in the octagon, freaking out. I turn around to Dominic Cruz and like, "Who's the freaking ref or who's the freaking judges?" And he goes like that. And I was like, dude, I was so mad because literally every person, you couldn't even hear this guy's interview because the crowd booed so loud. And then we went in the back, every single person. "Oh, that was a robbery. That was a robbery. You beat him. That was a robbery." Online, same thing everywhere. And I'm like, people are like, "Oh, takedowns don't matter if you don't do something with them." Wrong. You'll score more if you do something with them.
Yeah.
But if I take you down 9 times, I'm dominating you. I'm doing something so you can't stop.
Yeah. Is there an argument that he had to take him down 9 times because he couldn't keep him there?
Is there an argument that guy had to stay on his feet because he couldn't go to the ground with us?
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, that's sure. We took him down because we could take him down.
Sure.
That's part of the game plan. I would have liked him to throw a few more punches on the ground. I would have got the strike count up a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But he was wearing him out. He was taking him down, letting him climb up to the work his way up, taking him down again, working his way up, landing punches. Like, he got hit. It says 20-something times. Victor would tell you that it wasn't 20-something times. He got hit once very hard.
Yeah.
Ate it like a champ, and I was like, oh. Okay, cool.
All right.
And he was fine. But I was just so disappointed, man. I was so bummed for him because they stole a moment that would have lasted a lifetime with him in his hometown, where they went absolutely crazy for him. And the judges, the 3 blind mice that sit alongside the cage, who never trained or fought a day in their lives, are picking the winners and the purses for these guys' careers. And I hate it.
Total strikes, according to UFC's website, was 52-62 in favor of Dos Santos.
Okay.
Other than that, significant strikes, Altamirano edged him out 40-37. And then, of course, the 2 big ones, 9 takedowns to 0. You got 1 submission attempt for Felipe. And then your total control time was 5 minutes and 2 seconds versus 51 seconds. And that 51 seconds came late in the third when that's the submission attempt, I'm assuming, in that, and when he had him on top control. Statistically, you look at it, and then when you look at the fight, you look at Dos Santos' post-fight interview, his teeth were all bloody.
I was watching him spit blood out of his mouth in between every round.
Yeah, and Victor looked like he could go get his pictures taken.
Yeah, he was fine. He was tired. He was for sure tired.
For sure.
That guy was more tired. If you listen to his interview, he couldn't even talk.
Yeah.
And Victor was tired, but he was tired because he was beating the guy for 2 rounds. He pressured him for 2 rounds, and everyone's like, "Oh, all he did was run in the third round." Okay, cool. Say that. Go ahead and say that. Oh, he lost the third round. Okay, cool.
Right.
Now what?
Right.
How do you go back and give him the win over the first 2 rounds? And the same judges, or the judges that gave it 29-28, gave that guy the second round, and gave Victor everyone gave Victor the first round, and they gave the second round to that guy. I thought the second round was as dominant. He got 6 takedowns in the first round, 2 takedowns in the second round, I think, and then 1 takedown in the third round. And they're like, well, you split all those over 3 rounds. I said, yes, but there was only 1 in the third round. He dominated the first 2 rounds.
Yep. And you've already given him round 3, so the fact that he only got 1 takedown is moot.
And here's the other bullshit thing that I want to talk about, and I've talked about it before. When there is a decision, why does it take long to come into the cage when it's a split decision?
Yeah.
If you're a judge, you mark down round 1. You mark down round 2.
Yep.
You mark down round 3. When round 3 is over, it's over.
That's it.
So there's nothing gets changed. You don't get to change what you picked on round 2 because now, oh God, the wrong guy's winning, right? Like it's clear as day, unless you can't decide who won the third round, which was the clearest round. That I thought that guy won the third round.
Yep.
It is easy. You now take those 3 scores and go up there and read them. But every time it takes long, someone's about to get screwed, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
It was taking a while, and all of a sudden they come in the cage and it's a split decision. It should be mandatory. You put in the final of the end of the round. You have 1 minute to do it between round 1 and round 2. You have 1 minute to do it between round 2 and round 3. Why do you not just get 1 minute to do it at the end of round 3 and it's over? Turn in your papers within 1 minute and bring him inside. There should be no argument about that.
I would agree. I would absolutely agree. Did you get to see any of the other fights that night? Were you watching?
I watched the last 2 on my phone in the bus on the way home.
How about Brian Ortega?
Brian Ortega's a stud, dude. Like, what a savage. He destroyed his ankle right before the fight. Do you see it?
I did. He jumped up and rolled it, and it was
he got all like this, and then Henner was like all of a sudden like, oh my God, saw a ghost, and then he went out there and lost, and then comes back out there and wins. Comes out there and finishes it. Loses the first round.
I wondered if there was a discussion for a 10-8 round 1. I mean, he got ran over pretty hard.
Well, you can always take the 10-8 away with a finish.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Moreno and Royval, it was a great fight. I was sad to see Moreno walk away with another L. That was tough.
He's not done great since moving to where he's moved to.
Yeah.
He was doing fantastic with James Krause at Glory MMA, and he was doing fantastic on his own before that. But since going to the gym that he's at now, he's lost more than he's won. He needs someone to help him get better, coaching wise. You know, he needs someone to help him improve coaching-wise. He's not changed much over that time. And he's a top guy, right? He's at the top, and he needs to fight top guys, so he needs to be like Henry Cejudo's calling him out now. He needs I'm not saying he doesn't have good bodies to train with. I'm sure he does, but he needs improvement and someone to help him improve.
Too bad we don't know anybody that could help him with that.
Yeah, that's what everyone says when I said that. I don't even mean me. You know, I don't even mean me or coming here. But he needs somewhere that has guys that are fighting at the top level, not the middle of the UFC level or the bottom level, at the top level, because that's where he's at. And where he is, there's no one like that. They all get to the middle and then they fade back down. And Brandon Moreno is champion, right? He's a champion 2 times. And he needs a top guy to a top coach or coaches to get him back to the top there, to get him change. He needs change.
So now Royval's in line to fight Pantoja. That'll be an interesting fight.
Yeah.
Something to keep an eye out. And, yeah, it sucks to see Moreno go on a 2-fight skid after everything he did against Figueiredo. And just so. Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
Thank you guys for watching. Leave your comments in the comment section.
It is all over, just like